Hi guys, it's me again. Probably did it a little too early, but hey ho. I'm doing both the Congos, the Republic of and Democratic Republic of the Congo. And French Polynesia. There's two Congos. One had been in control of the French, the other the Belgian. It's annoying trying to do the both. Starting off with the Democratic Republic of the Congo, now formerly known as the Belgian Congo. The territory was inhabited by the ancient Negrito peoples, or pygmies, who were pushed to the mountains by the Bantu and Nilotic invaders. As the American correspondent Henry M. Stanley navigated the Congo River in 1877, and opened the interior to exploration, and as it was commissioned by the then King Leopold II of the Belgians, as he made treaties with native chiefs and enabled the king to obtain personal title of the territory at the Berlin Conference of 1885. And it wasn't all good, as Leopold accumulated a vast personal fortune of ivory and rubber through the Congolese slave labour, and about 10 million are estimated to have died from the forced labour, starving and outright extermination of them during his colonial rule, as his brutal exploration of the Congo eventually became an international thing, and prompting Belgium to take over the administration of the Congo, which remained a colony until the 30th of June 1960, where they gained their own independence. And in the elections that month, two nationalists won. Patrice Lumumba of the leftist movement Nationalist Congolese and became Prime Minister, and Joseph Kasavubu of the ABACO party became head of state. But within weeks of independence, the Katanga province, led by Moise Tshombe, seceded from the new republic, and another mining province of South Kasai followed, as Belgium sent paratroopers to quell the civil war, as the UN flew peacekeeping forces. As Kasavubu staged an army coup in 1960 and handed Lumumba over to the Katangan forces, as a UN investigation commission found that Lumumba had been killing Belgian mercenaries in the presence of Tshombe, who was then president of Katanga, as the US, Belgian involvement in the assassination has been put forward as a theory, as a possible related development. Dag Hammarskjöld, a UN Secretary General, died in a plane crash en route to a peaceful conference with Tshombe on the 17th of September 1961, as Tshombe rejected a national reconciliation plan submitted by the UN in 1962, with Tshombe's troops fired on the UN force in December. In the ensuing conflict, Tshombe capitulated on the 14th of January 1963, and from there the peacekeeping forces withdrew in a complete about-face. Kasavubu named the Shombe premier in order to fight the spread of rebellion. Shombe used foreign mercenaries, and with the help of Belgian paratroopers airlifted by US planes, defeated the most serious opposition, a communist-backed regime in the northeast. Then Kasavumbu abruptly dismissed Shumbu in 1965, but was himself ousted by General Joseph Desire Motubu, his army chief of staff. As new president nationalised the Union Mare, the Belgian copper mining enterprise that had been dominant force since the colonial days in Congo. As Mobutu eliminated opposition to win the election in 1970, and in 1975 he nationalised much of the economy, barred religious instructions in schools, and decreed the adoption of African names, and he changed the country's name to Zaire, and his own to Mobutu Sese Seko, which I have a feeling many have heard of, which means an all-powerful warrior who, because of his endurance and inflexible will to win, will go from conquest to conquest, leaving fire in his wake. Don't know how Mobutu Sese Seko means all that, but in 1977, invaders from Angola, calling themselves the Congolese National Liberation Front, pushed Shaba or Katanga and threatened the important mining centre of Kolwezi. France and Belgium provided military aid to defeat the rebels, and Laurent Kabila and his long-standing little-known guerrilla movement launched a 7-month campaign that ousted Mobutu in May 1997, and ending one of the world's most corrupt and megalomaniacal regimes, and the last of a CIA-nurtured Cold War despots. Mobutu defiantly courted France and the US, with Zaire as a launching pad for covert operations against bordering countries like Marxist Angola. Mobutu's disastrous policies drove his country into economic collapse, while he siphoned off millions of dollars to himself, and the country was renamed the Democratic Republic of Congo in 1997, which had been named before Mobutu changed it to Zaire in 1971. But elation over Mobutu's downfall faded as Kabila's own autocratic style emerged, as he didn't really have a clear plan for reconstruction in the country. In August 1998, Congolese rebel forces, backed by Kabila's former allies like Rwanda and Uganda, gained control of a large portion of the country, while Angolan, Namibian and Zimbabwean troops came to Kabila's aid, and in 1999 the Lusaka Accord was signed, which was signed by all 6 countries involved, as well as the rebel groups. And in January 2001, Kabila was assassinated, allegedly by one of his bodyguards, and his young experienced son Joseph became the new president, and he demonstrated a willingness to engage in talks to end the civil war, and in April 2002 the government agreed to kind of like a power sharing agreement with some of the Ugandan supported rebels, and signed a peace accord with Rwanda and Uganda. More than 2.5 million people are estimated to have died in the complex civil war in Congo, which involves 7 foreign armies and numerous rebel groups that often fought among themselves. And on 17th of July 2003, the Congo's new power-sharing government was inaugurated, but the fighting and killing continued. As in April 2003, hundreds of civilians were massacred in the eastern province of Ituri in an ethnic conflict, and in 2004, the insurgency of Bukavu erupted as other areas of the Congo grew a little more unsettled, as Rwanda continued to support the various rebel groups fighting the government, but at the end of 2004, the death toll of the conflict had reached about 3.8 million. Despite the instability, the political progress continued, and in May 2005, a new constitution was adopted by the National Assembly, and overwhelmingly ratified in January 2006. And on the 30th of July 2006, the first democratic elections in the country took place since 1970, as President Kabila received 44.8% of the vote, but it was not enough to win the election outright, as fighting broke out between factions supporting the two major candidates, setting off the worst violence in the country as seen since 2002, when the peace deal was signed, as Kabila was declared the winner of the October runoff elections, winning 58% of the votes as the country's first freely elected president in 4 decades. In August 2007, a rebel general, Laurent Nkunda, led battles between his militia, made up of fellow Tutsis, and the Congolese army. The fighting continued throughout the year, driving hundreds of thousands of people from their homes in eastern Congo and threatening to spiral the fragile country's political situation into civil war again, as Nkunda claimed that he was protecting the Tutsis from the extremist Rwandan Hutus. In January 2008, the government and the rebels signed an agreement that had both sides withdrawing their troops, and the rebels disarming and eventually becoming integrated into the national army. However, the ceasefire fell apart in August that year, as the fighting resumed between Nkunda's militia and army, and by the end of October 2008, the rebels captured the major army base of Rumangabel and were advancing towards Goma as the capital of North Kivu province. In addition, angry civilians attacked UN peacekeeping troops, who provoked an ineffectual in both thwarting the rebels and protecting citizens, as Nkunda was arrested in January 2009. In January 2009, and the ceasefire was signed the 23rd of March that same year, as members of Nkunda's militia joined the government forces, as the militaries of Congo and Rwanda worked together to kind of eliminate the remaining rebel forces in eastern Congo, as it kind of lasted over about 5 weeks, as a report released in January 2008 by the International Rescue Committee found that billions in aid, the deployment of the world's largest peacekeeping force in successful democratic elections. Some 45,000 people continued to die each month, mostly of starvation and disease, as Prime Minister Antoine Gizenga resigned in September 2008, citing health reasons, and he was succeeded by Adolphe Muzito. As presidential elections were held in November 2011, incumbent Kabila faced opposition leaders and former Prime Minister Etienne Tshisekedi. The international crisis group deemed the election unruly and chaotic. The other international observers had said that the vote was flawed and irregular, as nearly 20 people were killed in the election, in relation to the votes. But Congo's election commission ruled that the December that Kabila prevailed 49% to 32% in the runoff election, as Kabila was maybe feeling like a threat from opposition and popular dissatisfaction with his rule, wanted a constitution to do away with the second round of the voting. Stacks for electoral commission. And in March 2012, the Prime Minister Adolphe Muzito resigned, and his resignation came a little over 3 months after the violent presidential election, as Deputy Prime Minister Luis Cargialo was appointed to temporarily replace Muzito, and on 18th of April 2012, former Minister of Finance Augustin Mapan was named Prime Minister. And on March the 4th, 14th of March 2012, Thomas Lubanga was convicted of using child soldiers during the ethnic conflict in the Ituri region. As a former militia leader, Lubanga had been on trial for 3 years and may receive life imprisonment. As the use of child soldiers occurred in 2002 and 2003, the ruling made the International Criminal Court was significant, as it established use of child soldiers as an international crime. So yeah, don't use child soldiers. In the spring of 2012, the former rebels who were integrated into the army in 2009 mutinied, saying the government was rife with corruption. Reneged on the terms, went back on the terms of a ceasefire that was signed on in 23rd of March 2009 as a rebel called the M23 movement. It was led by General Bosco Ntaganda, a Tutsi who is wanted by the International Criminal Court, as M23 fought government troops throughout the year, taking city after city. The violence peaked in November when the rebels took Goma in the east of Congo, as Rwanda, which was led by the Tutsi Paul Kagame, is widely suspected of not only supplying arms to rebels but fighting with them. As the UN leaders of the 11 Central African nations, including Congo, Rwanda, Uganda and Congo, signed a framework agreement in February 2013 pledging to work together to end the conflict with the rebels. In March, the UN Security Council authorized an intervention brigade of 3,000 troops to disarm the rebels, as a brigade supplemented by 15,000. You made me scared, cat. UN peacekeeping troops already in Congo after heavy fighting in the August. Cat was interested in feminine hygiene. The UN brigade, after heavy fighting in August, a UN brigade forced the rebels out of Goma, However, the signers of the framework agreed had made little to if any progress in the peace process, as Ntanga had turned himself into the US Embassy in Kigali, Rwanda, in the March of 2013, and he was transferred to The Hague, where he faces charges of war crimes and crimes against humanity. It is unknown why he chose to kind of hand himself over and surrender. But in November 2013, the M23 rebels surrendered. And the UN's most aggressive approach had improved Congolese army, and a reduction in aid to Rwanda contributed to the defeat of those rebels. And moving on to the Republic of the Congo. In pre-colonial times, the region now called the Republic of Congo was dominated by three kingdoms. Congo, spelled with a kicking-k instead of curly-k, originated from about 1000. The Luango, flourishing in the 17th century until and after the Portuguese located Congo River in 1482, commerce was carried out with the tribes, especially the slave trade, as the Frenchman Pierre Savarin de Brazza signed a treaty with Makoko, ruler of the Betike people, in 1880, thus establishing French control. It was first called French Congo, and after 1985 Middle Congo, with Gabon and Ubangi Shari. It became a French colony of French Equatorial Guinea in 1910 as abuse of labourers led to a public outcry against the French colonists, as well as rebellions among the Congolese, but the exploitation of the native workers continued until 1930. During World War II, the colony joined Chad in supporting the Free French cause against the Free Vichy government, and the Congo proclaimed its independence without leaving the French community in 1960, calling itself the Republic of Congo. As Congo's second president, Apanze Masemba Debat, introduced the Marxist-Leninist government in 1968, made Marian Negobai overthrew him, but kind of kept Congo a socialist country. He was sworn into a second 5-year term in 1975 as a four-man commando squad assassinated Negobai on the 18th of March 1977, and his Colonel Joachim Yombi Opango, Army Chief of Staff, assumed the presidency on the 4th of April, as Yombi Opango resigned on the 4th of February 1979, and was replaced by someone else. That was all I was able to really find as such. So I think that one of the official language for both countries is French, with France and Belgium obviously speaking French. But there are other languages like I found in the Republic of Congo. Kituba is like a major ethnic language for minorities, and Lingala is spoken like the northwest, east I think. Moving on to a little bit about the Democratic Republic of Congo's rainforests. As it says, the Biloko is said to be deep inside the Congolese rainforests, as the Biloko is a demonic creature who are, according to some legends, restless ancestral spirits whose main goal is to kind of like harass the living, as such as the hideous spirits are said to be hairless with long claws and mouths big enough to swallow a person with one gulp. and few locals kind of travel into the rainforest alone, because as encounters with the Biloko rarely end well, kind of thing. So yeah, the way I see it is kind of like the Biloko is kind of there to kind of make sure you don't go out alone, kind of thing. So yeah, bye for now, and I'll see you in a little while.